Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at NETSN.live.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of bEast from the East. I'm Mr. NETSN Brett. Alongside me tonight, Mr. Red Zone OT, K.O. Gallowin, and Jeremy Diamond. Fellas, welcome.
What's up, man?
Man.
Two more weeks.
Man, I can't believe we're already here. I know we said it kind of throughout the season. It flies by so fast. And then there were four teams left in each classification, each division there. Man, and what a week it was this past week. It was record breaking is the word I would use, just because of the game that I was at. It was an incredible experience. Jeremy takes a few games off and he jumps back in and he gets this one. Pretty good way to jump back in.
Hey, take 1 week off. Take 1 week off. That's what you get.
Well, it was a few weeks.
No, it was just one. You kicked me over to Kaufman the other week. Remember, we just didn't get to hang out together.
Right.
I didn't miss that week. I just got sent elsewhere. No, it was 2 weeks since we've been together, and man, what a game and what an incredible performance by one man, leading his team, and again, just like man, with the will to win with that group and the way they played was awesome.
Yeah, Kyle, you were over and got to see some Bulldogs get angry at some Hornets. Kyle, what was that like down there on the field?
It was, first off, Rose Stadium was packed. Like I think there was every bit of at least 10,000 people there Friday night. Like both sides showed up. But yeah, it was dominated by Carthage. I mean, they had to turnover on downs on the first drive and then scored on every single possession after that. So but a fantastic season for Athens. But Carthage is Carthage. You know, they're doing Carthage things again.
They did what they did. Well, let's look at the pick'em results. We had one person this week got 10 out of 10. That was Tyler Parker. Shout out to Tyler, this week's winner. So Tyler won for the week. We had several at 9. A couple of familiar names here. Let's see. Jaron Peoples with 9. I know. And then Jeremy Diamond also here with 9. So let's see. Anybody else in our group? I think so. Had some other people there. Several at 8. There was me and Brandon at 8. Kyle, I think you were at 8 there.
Yeah, I'm not on the first page because my last name is O, but I'm on there.
Oh, it's by first name though.
Oh well, still.
Because I'd be at the bottom because S I'd put me at the bottom. With B, I'm up close to the top.
You know what? You need to take a note from Kilgore. Respect the K, all right, and put me up on that first page.
We'll see if you get enough correct. If you didn't pick with your heart last week, KO. Your heart got you on both picks. Your heart got you.
Yeah. I mean, with 9 picks, I had no problem being on the front page. I'm just saying, right? 9 right. I was up there.
Yeah, see,
I
you did
10-0 if I didn't pick with my heart.
You did. See, I told you it was heart picks there that got you. Yeah. I know it's tough.
Okay, you know what I'm loyal to? I'm loyal to the East. Okay,
the East?
And I went with the East and it bit me. Okay, it happens.
Well, some of those teams were in the East. They were in the Southeast.
Yeah. I'm talking more Central East, not Southeast.
Okay. Well, I don't know. St. Augustine and Joaquin aren't that far apart, though. So I don't know.
Listen, we're not talking about those.
Game 1, you've already started talking about. But we're gonna start here with the overall pick and results. I actually moved up into a tie for second now. Lewis Ray still on top at 106. Me, Doug Montgomery, and Jonathan Bradshaw tied for second there at 104. And there's this Jeremy Diamond guy that's like right behind me there all of a sudden. And then Jaron Peoples right behind you. I mean, and conveniently he's not here tonight. Somehow whenever he's not here, he does better. I don't know what it is. Is he? I still think he watches our picks and then he picks after him.
Yeah.
But, no.
We need him to timestamp when he does his picks because if he does them after our show, we know he watches and changes his picks.
That's true.
So moving down here, let's see. Brandon Ogden is at 98 in 15th place. So Brandon's up there on the first page. Let's see. We got Kyle, you're just off the first page. You're right there at 97. So you're right behind Brandon.
We're already we're on to next season. All right, we're preparing for the 26th season.
Are you forfeiting the rest of the year like Notre Dame?
No, I'm still gonna. No, I'm still gonna play out my remaining schedule. I'm just, we're focused. We're getting the younger talent in. We're getting some younger guys playing time and focusing on next season.
You're over here snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Younger guys, you're the youngest one here, KO.
That's true.
Listen, listen. So we're ready to talk about Carthage and Athens because I have some things for you.
Yeah, let's talk about it, Kyle. You were there. We kind of had our eyes on this one, but it was kind of looked like Carthage from the start. Tell us what went down there at Rose on Friday.
Like I said, that first drive, Carthage went down and had a turnover on downs, and then Athens went on a 7-play, 54-yard drive, and it was 11-yard touchdown pass from David Richardson to Taylor, and 7:04 to go in the first quarter. Athens is up 7-0. Last time they led in the ballgame. Carthage had an 8-play, 86-yard drive that was capped off with a 45-yard rushing touchdown by KJ Edwards. They missed the extra point, so it was 7-6. But then on the ensuing drive, Richardson was picked off by Colorado commit Carson Crawford, who returned it for a pick 6. He even high-stepped into the end zone like his coach Prime. So that was kind of cool to see. But overall, Surratt and KJ Edwards combined for 6 touchdowns. Surratt had 3 through the air, Edwards 3 on the ground. A light night for Surratt, 11 of 15, 197 yards, 3 touchdowns. KJ only 8 carries, but had 148 yards, 3 touchdowns. Carson Crawford had a pick 6. Jace Harris had a pick 6. He's just a sophomore. Harris had 2 interceptions on the night. Jaden Lewis had 1. Trey Gant. They had 5 turnovers. So if you think about it, this game back in October that was played in Carthage, it was 61-56, a straight-up shootout. Carthage scored nearly the same amount of points. Athens did not, because the Carthage defense absolutely balled out. And it was the quartet of the D1 signees that just signed a few days before. Carson Crawford had a pick six. KJ balled out. Junior Henderson had a couple of touchdowns. And then DeQuivis Beck on the defensive side was playing like a maniac. So this Carthage team, I think, had something to prove this week. And they definitely went out there with a different mentality and a different mindset. And it's impressive to watch. Like, it's just, we talk about Kagan and how neat it is to see Kagan do his thing. It's fun to watch this Carthage team when they're clicking on all cylinders like that, because they make the game look so easy. Like, they make it look incredibly easy, and it's not. And so they're good, but I want to give credit to Athens too, because they continued to battle in that game. Coach Harrell brought the Hornets to this round for only the second time in program history. I think that they have a lot to build on. There's a lot of good that came from this season. They just ran into a buzzsaw in the Carthage Bulldogs, but nothing to hang your head about if you're an Athens Hornet fan. Like, you had a great year, made a lot of people look silly. Nobody thought that going into the year that Athens would be playing in December, and here they were going toe-to-toe with one of the top teams in the state. So hats off to Athens, but Carthage is Carthage, and they're going to be a problem.
Well, and when Carthage played so tightly with them the first game, Carthage wasn't going to come in and underestimate Athens. I think that was probably a disadvantage for Athens, because they had played them already and took them toe-to-toe, like you said. And then, they were going to come out, and they're like, man, these guys can play with us. We can't come out like a day's goal. We can't overlook this game. And so I'm sure that was a point that Coach Surratt, made them aware of, if they didn't already know that. But it sounds like Athens got off to a good start, and then Carthage just let the dogs loose and literally let them loose on the field. I mean, and you turned the ball over 5 times. I mean, that's tough to overcome, especially against a team like Carthage. I mean,
and they capitalized every single time. Like, that's the thing. It's not like the defense, held up their end and stopped them. Like, Carthage was just scoring at will, and sometimes it was 2 plays later. So, like, it was just an onslaught of points that it just snowballed quick.
Yeah, I was a little surprised, but that makes more sense of the point differential of the game. I thought Athens, I didn't think they would win. I thought it would be, 2-3 scores at least that Carthage will win by. But you turn the ball over that many times, that's going to add up to points, especially against a team like Carthage. Jeremy, what did you think about this outcome?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of think kind of the same thing. I didn't think it was going to be super close, but I didn't think it was going to be this big of a gap. But again, I talked to Robert Barton, who's been a friend of mine a long time. He's the spotter at Rose Stadium, and he just said that, like, Carthage forced Athens to make those. It wasn't poor decision making by Richardson or anything like that. It was just that Carthage just played so well that between their pressure and then just dudes making plays, right? It's your Jimmys and Joes, right? And they stepped up and balled out. And he said it was just incredible to watch. He said, we've always said for years, like, some of these teams, playoff Carthage, he said you could just tell that Carthage has been in that spot before, and those Athens players hadn't, right? Like, Carthage knows what it takes to get to where they're at. And so Athens they had a great season. I mean, it was phenomenal. Like, we saw them play, round 1 against Gilmer, and they played a great game, and man, hats off to them. But I think this is that thing where, the experience that Carthage has really showed in this game, that they've been there before. It was, they didn't panic. They didn't get flustered down 7-0. They just kind of came back and did their thing. And then once they hit that gas pedal, they didn't slow down.
All right. That's game 1. Game 2, Kilgore takes care of Fort Bend Crawford 30-3. Man, impressive output by the defense there, Carthage. I picked Kilgore in this game. I thought they would handle Fort Bend Crawford handily, and you look at this bracket now, and there are some names in this bracket. I mean, you've got Stephenville, Salina, Kilgore, and it's Lavernia, I think, who Kilgore plays, right? So, I mean, those are all pretty. That's a pretty high-powered names left, and I feel like Kilgore can compete against any of those players. But it's going to be from here on out. Now you're going to see what Kilgore has. I think we all thought getting through this region obviously was easy for them. I don't think they had any struggles here. And so I think their district was their toughest test, Kilgore's. Once they got through their own district players, I don't think there was anybody outside of that was really going to compete against them. I'm interested to see how they compete. Now, do I think they'll do well? Yeah, I think they're a favorite to win it, to my opinion. But there's going to be some challenges here moving forward. So I'm interested to see how they look against some of this other competition. Kyle, what do you think about Kilgore and their effort here on Friday?
We talk about Carthage's defense. Kilgore's defense may be even better. And this postseason, through 4 games, they've outscored their opponent 167-17. Like, think about that. Through 4 games, they're allowing basically 4 points per game in this postseason. Like, that is an insane stat. But we've talked about it all year that this Kilgore team has been out for revenge. Their whole mission, their whole mindset from last December when that game ended, their whole mindset was to get back to Arlington and to make amends for what happened a year ago. And they have been laser focused the entire season on that goal. The only team they lost to, the team we just talked about, Carthage. Like, and it wasn't a blowout. Like, they played them tight and beat them a year ago. So they're the last team to beat Carthage, actually, if you think about it. So, this Kilgore team's the real deal, man. I'm with you. I think it'll be maybe a little tougher this week, but I think the way that Kilgore's playing, like until they're on that level now, where until there's a close game or until somebody beats them, I'm not going to believe it. Like they're going to have to, in order to beat Kilgore, you're going to have to play a perfect game, and even then, it may not be enough because Kilgore has those dudes that can just make plays. So I'm excited to see this Kilgore team Friday. Spoiler, I'll be in Waco to see this Kilgore team Friday. So I'm excited to see the Bulldogs in action and excited to see what they can do. But I'm happy for Coach Fuller and the boys.
Jeremy, what do you think about this one?
Dude, I mean, to only give up 3 points, right? I mean, that says a lot. Again, this Fort Bend Crawford team has beaten some quality teams coming up to this round, and then for them to get shut down completely and only pick up a field goal, I think, like you said, it just says everything you need to know about this Bulldog defense. And again, they've got a good opponent with Lavernia. I expect them to be favored in that one, and then it'll be interesting to see the winner of the Stephenville Salina game. I think that one's going to be that'll be a great game on that end. But I think Kilgore is going to be favored again. I'm with Kyle. Like, until you get beat, I don't know how you pick against them, right? Like, I just don't, I don't know. I'm on the bandwagon too, and I think they're playing some of the best ball around, and excited for what's going to come. And I think they've had their eyes on that goal, and I think they're gonna do everything they can to get to that spot. And that defense has really carried them.
All right, game 3, Pottsboro Grandview. This is one of my L's here. The Zebras with the win, 35-18. Kyle, you took the Zebras there. It was a good selection by you. Just going through the stats that I've got from online here. You said you said Blue Hubbard was the player you were talking about, Jeremy, earlier?
Yeah, Blue Hubbard in the game I watched when they played Great Gladewater. He was just a monster. He caught as he ran the ball. He was everywhere.
He had 5 carries for 8 yards, and he had 1 reception for 8 yards. So he was not a factor in this game.
Interesting.
So that's interesting to me.
Pottsboro must have said, we're not letting this guy beat us, because, I mean, in the other 2 games I watched, he was everywhere. Like, he was catching those short posts or those slant routes, and he was just going.
Well, Mason Landers had 3 touchdowns. He had 198 yards and 3 touchdowns there. So maybe throwing the ball around a little bit. Looks like they spread it around to a bunch of different guys. But Landers actually rushed for 2 touchdowns too. So it looks like the quarterback there was he kind of carried the load. Do you remember him and whenever y'all covered him? Number 8.
He's a big body quarterback. He doesn't necessarily look the prototypical. Like, he's not exceptionally tall. He's kind of more of a, kind of, like I said, a little bit of a thicker guy, but he's got a good arm. And I mean, the offense they run is just so hard to cover, because they'll run, like I said, like Blue Hubbard's a receiver, but he's in the backfield sometimes. And I mean, they would run empty, and they'd run trips, and they'd run a diamond bunch. And I mean, they lined up in a bunch of different ways. And, it was like they'd throw a couple of the little screens behind the line, and then the defense would suck up and they'd run a post and they throw it over the top. And so I think their offense is really designed for that. And again, if you spread him out and Landers doesn't have anybody to throw to, he's got room to run. And I mean, he was a good athlete, and and I think that says a lot about them to have more than one guy that can do what needs to be done. And so I just know that when we watched, I mean, Blue Hubbard looked like he was in about 3 places on every play, and so.
Well, they also played well on defense. Caden Humphrey, the quarterback for Pottsboro, was intercepted 3 times, and so that usually doesn't help either. Kyle, you had the Zebras here. What do you think about this big win for the Zebras?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't see a lick of it. So what you're telling me, it sounds like they had sounds like they played a complete game, right? Like the quarterback led the offense and was able to get into the end zone, put up points. Defense did their job getting 3 interceptions. So I think Grandview, to me, out of the teams that were left out of those 2, obviously, just had the pedigree. Like I had seen them more. I'd heard about them more being further in the playoffs. So I just went with pedigree on that one. But yeah, the Zebras helped me out with getting a dub there.
They probably are excited not to see a Malakoff or a Winsboro, or those teams that have been kind of predominantly winning this region. And so shout out to them for getting the win. They'll have their interesting hands full next week. But game number 4, that's the game that Jeremy and I were at. And what a game this one was for multiple reasons, as Mount Enterprise held on for a 64-58 win and a record-setting performance, as Kagan Ash had a superb night, over 500 yards on the ground. He surpassed Kenneth Hall easily. He's now at 4,322 yards on the season. So, that mark of 4,045 yards that Kenneth Hall had, he just smashed it, and he's got another game this week to continue to add on to it. I was trying to look at the national record, and what I was looking around, and all I saw was like 47 or 4,800 yards, and so that's not something that's out of the realm of possibility if he can get another 2 games in here. So, and then of course, the all-time career points record is definitely in jeopardy. He's only 26 away from tying, so he needs 27 to surpass Jonathan Gray's record. You guys know that name, right? That Jonathan Gray. I mean, he's pretty good.
He was all right.
He was pretty good. And then, of course, the all-time career rushing record, 91 yards from breaking that record. Some more obtainable records this week, as we'll have the Mount Enterprise game against Shiner on the NFHS network. One is just kind of in awe of being able to call a game like that. And it was like everything that Mount Enterprise needed to have happened early. They were able to, seal possessions and get the lead up to where they needed it to. Were able to score back-to-back at the end of the half and the beginning of the half, and got that 20-point lead. And they just hang on for dear life, Jeremy. And it's no shout against Bremond. They gave every bit of effort they could, and it just wasn't enough. They weren't able to make the stops on Mr. Ash when they needed to.
Yeah, the big thing was 2 to 3 times in a row where they got the onside kick, right? That really stretched them out to 20. And what it really also allowed them to do was to rest Kagan Ash. There were at least 3 different drives where Kagan was either out at wide receiver, not running the ball, or they were giving it to Alsop in the backfield, and they really were able to, with that 20-point lead, rest him a little bit, and keep him fresh enough for that final push when they needed him. In that late 68-yard run really kind of sealed the night right there.
Well, was it a run, Jeremy? It was like a jog. I mean, yeah. It was the weirdest 68-yard run I've ever seen. Like, he had a burst, and he got to a point he's like he was going to jog, like he was going to let them tackle him. Well, then no one tackled him, so then he just kept going and sprinted for a minute again, and then he got in the open room. He's like, all right, I'm just going to jog down here and see when someone tackles me, and then go down, and he started sprinting again. It was really strange. He was trying to conserve energy, but nobody would oblige to tackle him. I don't know if they just didn't want to. They didn't want to try to tackle him and get stiff armed or what.
Yeah, it was a weird exchange. It was like he was trying to. I don't know. It was like I think he was trying to figure out if the guy was going to tackle him or give up, and he kind of did neither. He just kind of ran with him. It looked like one of those where, like, you're on a jog and somebody comes up and is like, hey, good morning, and then they just hang around and they don't leave, It's kind of what it looked like. But, yeah, monster game. I think officially I saw the stat line. I think I had about 501 something, and they had it at 503, which you and I talked about. There were multiple times that like the referees are spotting it at the half yard. And like, do you count it? Do you round up? Like, it's just so tricky with that. But the good news was the record was he was 225 away, and he more than doubled what he needed to get there. And so it wasn't one of those where at the end of the game he was, a kneel down or a lost yardage carry would cost him the run. And
well, it was a cool play that he actually got to smash it on that touchdown. I mean, because you kind of wonder, like, okay, is it going to be on this 2-yard carry where he gets stuffed? Well, that's the record. Like, it was cool that it was on a big play that he submitted that record down, and it wasn't one that he surpassed it enough where it wasn't like he was going to get knocked backwards and now he's back behind it. Now he's past it again. It was he kind of put that hammer on it, and Kyle, you've gotten to see this young man play over the years. How awesome is this that he is able to get this record?
It's amazing. It is phenomenal, and I don't think it could happen to a better kid, like a more humble kid, Christ-centered kid. Like, he always puts that first, and I respect the heck out of that. And I do have an issue, though, not with him, I just have an issue with society in general, and I just want to point this out because we have a platform to do it. These kids, these athletes, these are kids, 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, whatever. They're kids. And when they achieve something of this magnitude, of this great, why is it society's first instinct to try and minimize the accomplishment? That bothers me so incredibly much. Oh, it's a 2A school. Oh, but who cares? This kid just broke a record that has stood for 72 years. And your first thought is to try and minimize this accomplishment. That bugs me. That bothers me so much. And so,
well, I've seen the ones that said the games, like, oh, well, he did 14 games and the other one was in 12. But there were some games that we got to see them. Like, he didn't play the entire game. Like,
right. If you want to do that, then go by carries. Don't go by games, go by carries.
And see his average and see how sick it is.
But even that is it. It doesn't matter. The kid broke a record, and if you want to start putting, I had a guy email me personally on my KLTV email me personally saying that record needs an asterisk because Ken Hall did it in 12 games and Kagan's. Who cares? Like, who? So you're telling me now all these NFL records now that because it's a 17-game season, they need to have their own record book, and we can't compare them to that's dumb. Just stop minimizing these accomplishments. Just be happy for the kids. And if you're not happy for them, shut up. There's no need to put your negativity on there under a great accomplishment. Like that bothers me. Anyway. So
no, you're good. No, you're good. I agree with you 100%. That's the kind of thing that we do this to spotlight the kids and to highlight these kind of things, not to try to nitpick. Oh, well, this is it. No. This is why we do this. This is a great accomplishment for this young man. And if you've ever seen him play, then you would see how he got the record, right? If you haven't seen him play, because the cool thing is when you go to these games, you get to talk to the other radio broadcasts. And I got to step over and talk to the Bremond radio guys, and they were super nice, super great. We kind of chatted for a few minutes, and before the game, they're like, "Oh, yeah, this is going to be a good game." I was like, "Yeah, it will be." And said, and they said that they dominated the game last year, and I was like, I didn't really see that. When I went back and looked at the film, it was pretty even. And there had been some changes in Mount Enterprise's offense. They obviously still had Ash, but the way they were getting him the ball were different, and it's just been a different season for them. And I was just like, okay, I think it's going to be a lot higher scoring. And I kind of went over to the other booth, and after the game, they're like, man, he's incredible. That guy. So it just, until you see him play, and until I saw him this year, I obviously saw clips and stuff, but until you actually watch him play, and some of these plays where there's no way, the most impressive yards for me in this game were late in that fourth quarter when they were trying to ice the game away. They were trying to finish it off. They were up 6 with the ball, trying to put Bremond away. And there were a couple of times that Ash just wasn't going down. There was nowhere to go, and he just squeezed through and got a couple of first downs that were just more incredible than some of the plays he had all game because there wasn't a hole there. He made one. He was not going to let his team lose. He put them on his back and gave everything he had. And so, I mean, to discount a kid like that it plays that hard, where he's already got a full ride to Tech. He doesn't. This is more for his teammates. Like, he put them on his back. I'm taking you guys. He got his record already. He could have just said, I'm done. But he was not going to let them lose that football game, and he's going to get another week with his teammates. And I'm excited that we get to go cover that again.
Well, and I think another thing that was cool, I think it says a lot about him too, is you and I saw post game several of the Bremond players. They actually Bremond, which was really cool. They went over to the Mount Enterprise sideline, as the game was over, and they kind of lined up shoulder to shoulder as Mount Enterprise played their school song, which I thought was huge because it's super easy in a situation like that to deuce out of there and not be happy. And then the players had kind of separated, and you see 3 or 4 of the Bremond Tigers actually doubled back and jogged over to say something to Kagan Ash and shake his hand. And so I thought that said a lot about the character of both teams. Bremond being exceptionally well coached. And again, they were down 20. And most teams this year, when you've gotten down 20 to Mount Enterprise, it's just kind of fold up and hang on and don't let it get worse. I mean, they fought all the way back. And so I think it says a lot about the character of that team, and also about, that they respect what he did, right? And they made every yard. I mean, he had 503, and there weren't very many easy ones. I mean, they were constantly dudes grabbing at him. He was dragging 2 and 3 guys. Like, every tackle had 4 or 5 Tigers in it. I mean, it was the toughest sledding that he's had that I've seen in a game in a while for him to run. I mean, he didn't have those where, somebody folded somebody and the line opened up and he was hitting the second level. He had a couple, but really after that first run of the game, he didn't have many where there wasn't somebody that he had to break a couple tackles and work. And so I think, again, if you see him walk post game, like, he's hurting, and it would be so easy for him to give up and just say, hey guys, like, I got a scholarship, I'm done, right? Like, I don't need this, but man, he's a team first guy and his teammates love him. And you can tell, I mean, they're hustling over to help him up. Like, and again, it wasn't just him. Like, Lucas Burkhart was huge in that game. I don't know how many times they kicked an onside kick at him. Here's a D lineman with a old school cowboy collar, and dude grabs 4 onside kicks like he's done it all year, like he's a receiver. Like, it was just, it's just things like that.
We talked about they have gotten used to that because it's basically an onside kick contest because nobody wants to give Mount Enterprise the ball because they usually end up in the end zone after that. So, I mean, they've kind of, at least the games that I've done, it's been mostly onside kicks. There hasn't been many times that they even attempt to kick it deep because who's waiting back there deep, and they're not going to kick it to him. So, but man, what an incredible game that was, and a big win for Mount Enterprise. They are moving on to the semifinals for the first time in school history. So shout out to Coach Ponder and that group. Again, we'll have that game this week. We'll talk about the matchup here in a little bit. Game 5, Newton all over ARP, 66-20, and as ARP season comes to an end, but great season for Coach Minky and the ARP Tigers. We knew this was going to be a tough one. Newton's a really good football team. They basically took out that entire district except for West Rusk. They didn't beat New Diana Troop and ARP on their way to winning the region. So shout out to Newton. I think they're going to be a tough out here moving forward. They've got it really rolling right now. And I think just the way ARP plays, I thought they might be able to stay in this game. I don't know really a lot what happened in this game, but I know that both of these teams like to run the football and play defense. And Newton was able to do a little bit better job of controlling the clock and running it, I'm sure. Kyle, did you get any stats or anything from this one from anyone?
I haven't looked for the stats. I can look at that real quick. I did see some of the highlights. We had a guy down there to shoot some highlights of it. And it was just, I think kind of similar to Athens. I think ARP just ran into a buzzsaw in Newton. I think Newton has been one of the best teams in the state this year at that 3A Division II level. And it seems like ARP just kind of, he didn't send them for this round. But yeah, I think ARP just kind of ran into something. And you're right. I think they had a chance if they could have played ball control and kind of kept it away from Newton. But it appears that Newton was able to force some to get the ball back anyway. I don't know if it's turnover.
I've got some stats online here. Let me see if I can tell. Looks like Josh Smith had 24 carries for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he had his. Looks like Mr. Porter Jr. For Newton, number 3, had 14 carries, 231 yards, and 4 tutties there. And then
he was all over the highlights.
Calvin Hunter had 5 carries, 133 yards with 3 touchdowns. So he had 8 touchdowns on the ground for Newton there.
So it sounds like we talked about this with Arp too. Is as good as Arp's defense has been all year long, the one game they really struggled was against Troop, who had a lot of speed. And it seems like Newton obviously was able to run the football and had a lot of speed on there as well, and it gave Arp a little bit of fits. But I mean, Arp had still Coach Schminke and the Arp Tigers had a phenomenal year. First time to make it to the regional finals since Overshown was there in 2016. Like, it's a great year for Coach Schminke and the Arp Tigers, and I think they'll be fine. And now they have that experience that they've gone this far, and it'll be a battle next season for them as well.
Yeah, it looks like there was a couple of turnovers, a fumble and interception. 2 fumble recoveries and 1 interception. So 3 turnovers for Arp as well. So that'll do it there. You can't let Newton have the ball back at that high-powered offense that they have. So, but yeah, an awesome season for the Arp Tigers. That's and I guess if you're an Arp fan, you can say that they made it farther than Troop. Anybody in their district. I mean, obviously they lost to the same team, but I'm sure since it's a big rivalry as it is, I'm sure that's going to be in there. Jeremy, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I had Newton in this one as well, and they just look to be a buzzsaw. I don't know that anybody wants to go up. I mean, their next opponent's probably going, oh, cool, we've got to stop this. And like you said, I think they had trouble with Troop and their speed. And it seems like maybe Newton was the same thing. I mean, 5 carries, 133 yards, and a couple touchdowns. That's a pretty good night, And
yeah, they're averaging 14.1 yards per carry, 481 yards on the night on the ground. So that's pretty good.
If you get a first down plus per carry, that's a pretty solid night. I don't know. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to figure that one out. So yeah, it's just crazy. But this Newton team is going to be. They're gonna have a serious shot at getting to that title game. So,
all right, game 6, playoff Joaquin is here as they do what they do in the playoffs as they knock off St. Augustine 35-24. And I just want to hear from Mr. St. Augustine, K.O. Kyle Owens here. Kyle, you got off the bandwagon, and Joaquin says stay off. We
I'm in a pickle now because I want to pick Joaquin going forward, but I feel like I can't. I feel like I can't because of principle. So no, but I mean, yeah, playoff Joaquin, and we had a reporter at that game too. So I saw some highlights. Cooper Bragg had a phenomenal game, and y'all said it last week that Cooper Bragg coming back from injury and being back a part of this team changed the way that Joaquin plays. And he's a big part of that offense, and he had a great game Friday night. And this Joaquin team is for real. I think they seem to be poised to go a step further than they went last season. So I'm excited to see what they could do. And for Coach Barnes and the St. Augustine Wolves, phenomenal year. First time back in the playoffs since 2019, and you make it all the way to the 4th round. Nothing to hang your head about. But Joaquin did what they needed to do. They lost to St. Augustine in the regular season, came back and avenged that loss in the postseason. They're headed to the state semis. So my hats go off to the Joaquin Rams.
Yeah, Cooper Bragg, 17 carries, 207 yards, and 2 touchdowns, KO. So pretty good performance there for Mr. Bragg. They had 353 yards on the ground with 5 touchdowns there. So good night there on the rushing attack. Didn't need to throw the ball. They had 3 pass attempts, 1 completion for 6 yards. Everything else was ground and pound.
Joaquin Ram football, baby.
Jeremy, were you happy you jumped back on the Ram bandwagon this week?
I am. You don't have to throw the ball if you can run it well, right? Like, I mean, we saw the same thing with Mount Enterprise. I think they might have had 3 passes on the night, and the first 2 went to Kagan Ash for touchdowns, 52-50, right? And the third one, I think he threw an incompletion. We're like, he screwed up the percentage, right? But
yeah,
again, right, you don't need to throw if you run well. And man, this Ram team, you know, they didn't come in with the stellar unblemished record, and they said, what does record matter anyway? It's playoff time, and they've put on a show, and again, I think they've got a good shot at moving on again to that state title game.
All right, and then we got the 7 through 10 are our statewide picks to fill in. Game 7, Stock did what they do, 28-0 over PNG. Nothing to it, right? Just show up and beat PNG 28-0. That's pretty impressive.
I think that's the first time. I think I saw it was the first time PNG's been shut out since like 2018 or something like that.
Yeah,
impressive. And let me just say, all 4 of these I got right. So maybe I should pick non-East Texas schools more often.
Maybe so. Maybe so.
No, that SOC team, man, that defense is just outstanding. And I mean, they beat Longview earlier in the year, you know, nobody wants to play SOC. Like they just have guys, and then the style they play, the attitude they play with, right? I mean, they're just that's a wrecking ball coming to hit you, and they play tough and they play physical.
Game 8 was another team that probably no one wants to see right now is Salina. They took care of Alvarado 55.
Kilgore wants to see
they may want to see them. That may be the only exception. And they may not mind if they lose before then. I don't know. Maybe they want to see them specifically. I don't know. But if I'm them, I want them to lose beforehand because I want to play. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think they're going to be worried about Salina, but Salina is Salina. We know how good they are. They just beat an undefeated Alvarado team 55-27 in the regional final. That's a pretty impressive statement there for Salina. I did have that one correct as well. I wasn't going against Salina there in that game. Impressive win for you guys. I mean, with all the noise that we kind of talked about with Salina, they are that well-oiled machine that's kind of blocked all that out and just keep winning.
Yeah, they'll have a tough one this week.
Yeah, well, I think you get down to this last 4 is going to be these last 4 are some names, and so I think it's going to be an interesting matchup. We might have that one on the pick of me.
Of course.
Yeah, man, this is a lot. I mean, they've managed to shut out a lot of chaos, right? I mean, they've managed to kind of block it off and get on the field and do what they do, and just a really, really, really good team, and so it's going to be interesting to see, you know, how things go moving forward.
Of course, the interesting one for me here was the one I lost is Allen takes care of defending state champion North Crowley 33-21. And man, I don't know if it was an upset or not. Allen may have been favored. They were undefeated, but anytime you knock off the state champ, props to Allen. That's a big win for their program. I know they obviously have been to the state championship games in the past. They're always a power, but North Crowley has been one of those teams lately that's just been at the AT&T Stadium quite frequently. Jeremy, what did you think about this Allen win over North Crowley?
Yeah, I mean, I had Allen winning the game, and you know, and again, I've seen a few clips here and there all season. They just look really good. Their scores have been great, and then you know, I think the expectation in Allen is that, right? It's been that way for a long time, and I think they're coming back to, you know, around again to what the expectation has been for Allen, right? They had for them a down year the last couple of years, not as good as they have been, and so I think for them this is a huge statement win, and I think it sets them up really well to finish again and a good shot at going to the state final again for them.
Kale?
This game was chippy. I've seen some. I believe our buddy Swaggy was at this game with his meta glasses, and I seen some footage of that. It was chippy pregame, and these two teams were going after it. But yeah, Allen. I think Allen is back, like you said, after a couple of in their terms bad seasons, down seasons. I think they're primed and ready to go back to Arlington and vie for another state championship. But yeah, this Allen Eagle team, man, they're good. Like you said, anytime you can knock off the defending state champs, that's something to be proud of.
All right. And then game 10, Denton Ryan Aledo, a district rematch where Aledo had won earlier in the season by 1 point. They were kind of like Carthage in this one. They said, no, not this time, as they won 43-17, a big win for Aledo, and the machine that is Aledo keeps rolling on to the next round. I don't think any of us are surprised at what Alito did that didn't run here.
No, I'm just hoping that Alito doesn't go to state or win a state title, because we need Carthage to catch Alito. And if Alito wins a state championship this year and Carthage wins a state championship this year, then we're still in the same boat that we're in right now with Alito being 2 ahead. So need Alito to lose at some point, but I didn't think they were going to lose this one. Just this, like you said, the Carthage thing. Like they made a statement in this regional final that they are still Alito and they're still the dominant team.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean this Bearcat squad. They said, listen, we're sorry about that close game earlier in the year. Sorry to give the fans a heart attack there with that one. We will not repeat that performance again. And man, that's another it's a team that's just got the pedigree, right? And again, I think it goes to the same thing like you said with Carthage. Like they know what it's like playing these games, and not that Denton Ryan doesn't. It's just different when you've done it as many times, and kids in those programs grow up thinking they're going to be the next state champion from that school, right? It's just it's a cultural thing that has continued for them, and so big win for them. And I did the same thing. I went 4-0 on the end here, and so I don't know if that's just lucky or what, but hopefully it'll continue this week too. So
yeah, even some people even have beginner's luck sometimes. It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go through these pick'em games, and then we'll look at the brackets here to kind of wrap up, since we only have 4 teams left from each classification. Game 1, y'all ready? Joaquin and Refugio. It's game 1 right off the bat here. Jeremy, we're gonna go to you. Are you going to continue to ride the Rams another week?
Listen. Why would I not? Why would I not ride this bandwagon? Like the Rams, they're going. They're going to take it. They're going to the state title game here. They're going to knock off this Refugio team. I'm gonna call it by 10. I'm gonna say by 10. So Joaquin by 10. Lock it in.
Okay. KO.
I'm in a pickle. I want to pick Joaquin. Like my heart for the East, baby. I want to pick Joaquin. But I feel like I haven't picked them all year. I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. And I'm sorry, Joaquin. I'm picking the Rams. I'm going with Joaquin. I believe in Cooper Bragg. I believe in that team. I believe that they can head to the state championship and avenge the state semifinal loss they had last year. So give me the Joaquin Rams. I'm back on the bandwagon, baby.
Uh-oh. KO just jumped back on. Maybe I need to jump off. Oh, because if they lose this week, KO may not get any Joaquin. He may not ever get any Joaquin gear. May not ever be invited to the to a game at Joaquin. It's maybe a little far anyway. But any time that they play up here in this,
I want Joaquin to win. So do I not pick Joaquin? Because
here's my thing. I'm in a pickle too, because I want Joaquin to win, but man, it's Refugio, man. Like, I don't, it's tough. This one's a tough one for me, because Refugio, I mean, there's a couple of these teams that, they just have that pedigree. I mean, Joaquin has been up and down. They are rolling right now. And it's tough to pick against the Rams. This one's tough. Because I feel like a lot of people are going to pick Joaquin because they're the East Texas team, and so I'm like, do I try to go against that and gain a game, or do I just stick with Joaquin? I picked them last week and they won, but that was St. Augustine. I felt like they were going to win that one.
Hey, don't disrespect the Wolves, all right?
No, but the reason why, KO, here's my reasoning. They only lost to them by one score earlier in the season, and Cooper Bragg was not available at 100%, and that's big. And you know why I've talked about the danger of Joaquin sometimes, and it hasn't affected them yet. But do they get to that game where they get behind and you can't run every time? Like, Cooper Bragg is not Kagan Ash. I love Cooper Bragg, but he's not Kagan Ash.
Let's be fair. No one is.
I know. But that's why I feel easier about picking when I've picked Mount Enterprise, because when you've got that player, then it's a little different. Now, don't get me wrong, Cooper Bragg is a phenomenal player. He's just not the same type. He's more of a speed guy, right? He's going to get out and just run past you. Ash is going to run over you.
Don't forget they got the state pole vault champion out there on the outside, Max Garvin.
Okay.
Throw it up to him.
On the outside. How many times has he caught the ball this year?
No idea.
So I'm curious.
Let him pick against. This is how we catch you. Let him pick against the Rams.
Good point. Go with Refugio.
I'm looking at the schedule. I want to look at Refugio's schedule to see
this guy. So I talked to him Friday night after the game, and he goes, I said, I'm catching you. And he says, don't worry. On the show, I'm going to have you pick first every time. That way I'll pick the same, and then I won't get caught.
So go Joaquin.
Here's the scores. I'm trying to give our viewers at home also, because they may not know Refugio. So I'm trying to go and give them some information so they can make they can't say they didn't have the information. Okay.
An educated decision.
So they obviously have won every game. They are undefeated. They have won 48-6, 55-6, 48-21, 54-0, 74-0, 63-7, 60-10, 61-0, 63-13, 35-23, 42-21, 40-13, and 27-13. So they put up a lot of points. And I have one score that I think there's one that they're a game short on here. It only has 13 games. They've played 14, so I'm not sure where that one went. But man, I want to stay with Joaquin, and I'm going to. But man, this is going to be a tough one. I'm going to stick with Joaquin because I think they're playoff Joaquin, and they want to get to that next stage. They were right on the edge of getting to Jerry's World last year, and this is where they take their step. I don't think they're going to surprise Refugio though this time. I think playoff Joaquin has made it. That phrase has made it onto Dave Campbell's. The Greg Tepper has put that out there. So he even knows playoff Joaquin. He stuck with him this week because he said, this is playoff Joaquin. This is not regular season Joaquin. And so I think that's cool that that's made on the state level. And I'm going to stick with them too. I'm going to go with the Rams, and we'll have that game. Larry and those guys will have it for the NFHS network on Thursday night. So that'll be a Thursday game. All right. Game 2. This one, a good name value matchup here. Brock and Carthage. Now, I have some guys I'm in a group chat with L4 Media. They're from Brock, so I'm sure they're going to be all about the Brock Eagles on this one. But no way I'm going against the Carthage Bulldogs. I mean, no, Carthage, they're going to win. I think it should be an interesting matchup though with a Brock team that's always a strong power. I think this may be a tougher matchup than the next game. I think this could be their toughest one that's left to me. I think Brock's probably the toughest team left. There's I think La Vega is down the bottom and somebody else. I can't remember the other team.
I think La Vega got beat.
Did La Vega lose?
I don't know. I could be just talking.
I could probably.
I thought I saw La Vega got beat.
Let me look.
Let's look. Let's go to our NetSN website.
It is. They did get beat. West Orange Star. Yeah. Hey, you know who the only loss for Newton this year? West Orange Star.
West Orange Star.
Okay. All right. So again, I think that was the team that I thought out of that bottom. They played them last year in the state championship, Waco La Vegas. So yeah, I think this is their toughest challenge left. I don't think they should overlook the next game. Obviously, you got to play this one, but I'm going with Carthage here. Who you got, KO?
Make this simple, short, sweet, and to the point. Give me the Carthage Bulldogs. Carthage won last year 45-17. I think it's kind of a similar situation. This Carthage team has a dog mentality right now, no pun intended, and they're on that quest for number 11 and going back to back, and I don't think anything's going to stop them. So give me the Carthage Bulldogs. Jeremy,
going with a sweep? No, he's not going with the sweep. I can't hear him. Did I hear him say he picked Brock? Oh, wait.
No, I'm just kidding. No, not at all. No, not so fast. No, give me Carthage all the way. Let's sweep this thing and let's roll.
Okay. All right, game 3. Stephenville and Salina in a 4A Division I matchup of the top Region 1 and Region 2. All right, KO, who you got?
I mean, I'm going to take Salina because I want the Kilgore Salina rematch in the state title game, because I think if I would, so I guess that spoils my next pick too. But I think if I was a Kilgore Bulldog, I think I would want to face Salina again and get my revenge. I think that, me personally. Now, I understand your point about go ahead and knocking them out, but I think I want to see them again. So I think Salina wins, and I'll go ahead and give you my pick for the next one. Respect the K. I'm going to take the Kilgore Bulldogs to match up with Salina in the state game.
Okay. All right. Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, I think Stephenville's a really, really good team. Like they've kind of rolled in and they've been hot as well. But again, Salina is Salina, and I want to see that rematch as well. And so I'm going to take the Salina Bobcats.
Okay. Go for the sweep. I will take Salina as well. And I am also going to take Carthage KO for the next one in game 4. I kind of – excuse me, Kilgore. Wrong Red Dog. Sorry, Carthage. I did pick both teams, so I'm going with Kilgore over Lavernia. As a fan, I want to see the Salina Kilgore rematch. As a player, I might want the easier opponent just because, you want to get, but as a fan, I want to see both. Now, if I was on the team,
would it be an easier opponent if they beat them? So if Stephenville beat Salina, would it be the easier opponent?
I don't know. I think just Salina with that. When you come in, you're Salina. Like, it's just a different. I know Stephenville's got a nice pedigree background as well, but Salina is just a team that, it's like, oh, they're going to be here, they're going to win. Like, they're one of those teams. So I think now
a pedigree team.
I wasn't on that team. So if I'm a Kilgore Bulldog, I might want the rematch with Salina to get the revenge. So on that aspect, but just as a player in general, I would say, hey, all the good teams lose, and that makes the easier path. But as a revenge factor.
But also, to your point, there's 4 teams left. None of them are easy.
No,
I don't think.
No,
I think they're all going to be hard.
This is a tough bracket. This is a tough bracket. And I think that's how much confidence I have in Kilgore. I just think that they're that much better than these teams left. And it's not like we are looking at, an easy group of teams here. I mean, you name off these teams, and they're like, oh, these teams are teams that we see here in this round a lot of times. Like, I mean, your Salinas, your Stephenvilles, Lavernia's got, they've got a pedigree as well. I mean, you've got lots of pedigrees here. So I think this was going to be an interesting bracket. And I still think I've got confidence in Coach Fuller and the Bulldogs to take care of business here. Jeremy, you going to go with the sweep here as well?
Yeah, I mean, I should have just said the same thing earlier. I think I said, looking for the rematch. But, yeah, give me Kilgore. We'll make it another sweep. I feel like we're doing like the let's make it a daily double here thing, but, daily triple. But, yeah, let's do it. Why not? I mean, again, I have full confidence in the Kilgore team and the way they've been playing defense. That's going to carry them to the state championship game.
All right, game 5. The game will be at Friday night. Mount Enterprise Wildcats against the Shiner Comanches. And this is going to be a tough one, but there's no way I'm going against Kagan Ash and Mount Enterprise Wildcats in this one. It'll be interesting because Shiner has not been allowing very many points on defense. If you go look at their games, I think 21 or 27 is the most they've allowed all year. So something's got to give. Either they're going to allow more points than they have all year. Did 21? They won 27-21, I think. Was that
against Vanderbilt Industrial?
So they're either going to give up more points than they have all year, or they're going to hold a Mount Enterprise team to their least points they have all year. So one of those things has got to happen. So, I mean, I'm leaning towards they're going to give up the most points they have all year just because of what I've seen with Ash. Obviously, they've got a tough, stingy defense. It'll be interesting to see. I know Bremont had some speed and some guys that were able to get to the edge and kind of keep Kagan in play easier. He was still cut back a few times and was able to break it, obviously, with 500 yards. But they made those yards hard. He even went with some times where the play was going right and you saw Bremond cheating it so bad, he went the other direction with no blockers. It was like several times he did that. So I think that when you can score the ball almost every time and just the way they play, it's just going to be tough to stop him. Now, I think this is going to be a battle. And as much as they got beat up last week, they're going to have to get that healed up and get back out there this week. But I'm going with Mount Enterprise. Jeremy, who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Mount Enterprise too. But again, I think it's going to be tough. But this Bremond team last year held Mount Enterprise to 20 points in a playoff game, and they gave up 64 just this Friday, right? And like that was a good Bremond defense. I mean, that was a really good defense. And Kagan Ash is just he's just a different cat, right? Like he's just a different kind of athlete. He has an incredible will to win. And there were multiple times like you said, there was no room to run, and he got yardage where he shouldn't have been able to get yardage. And I'm going with Mount Enterprise. Again, I think I'm excited to see them in the state championship.
KO?
There's no chance I'm picking against Mount Enterprise. I will say, though, that my concern all year, and I've said it every time we've talked about Mount Enterprise, is the defense. Like, it goes against everything in me when there's a defense that gives up 40, 50 points a game to pick them, because my mentality, look at the Kilgores, look at the Carthages, defense wins championships. And I'll go to my grave saying that. But when you have the best player on the field every single game, that kind of gives you some hope, whether you have a good defense or not. And so I'm going to put my trust in Kagan Ash in that offense, and Joshua Bidditt and Aiden Alsop, and I'm going to trust that they can outscore Shiner. I think you are going to be in for another shootout, and I think you are going to be in for they need to get those light bulbs changed out down at that stadium, make sure they're working properly, because it's going to be a high-scoring affair. But I'm going to take Mount Enterprise to continue to outscore people and move on.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, too, because I think everybody had already penciled in a Shiner Bremond semi, I think, from looking at the state level and stuff. And Mount Enterprise is just – they continue to do it. And you're right, outscoring people every week is not ideal. Now, I will say I wanted to look at the stats here for Shiner, because I watched some film on them, and they don't throw the ball a ton, which to me, that's what hurt Mount Enterprise this last week. Bremond's ability to throw. They didn't run the ball very well at all. And so I feel like that, they got for the year here, they've got 346 passing yards for the year. That's not a whole lot. So
I think Kagan has that many receiving yards, and
probably.
He's the running back, right? Like I think it isn't. Yeah, I mean, I think. And
so
again, it was a huge deficit for Mount Enterprise. They were getting beat left, right, and center on those posts, on the inside breaking routes in that game.
And the things they do is they kind of run chip away yards. Like from what I've watched, it's 3 yards here, 4 yards here. So they're going to probably try to ball control it and keep it out of the offense's hands. And it'll be interesting to see if Mount Enterprise can do that. They were able to stand up over the last couple of weeks against the run. They have played pretty well. And so that'll be the interesting matchup. I think if the passing game was exposed, now, would I be surprised to see after Shiner gets on film? Would I be surprised to see them try to throw? No, but that's not their game. So that'll be the interesting matchup to me. That's why I think the matchup is a little more favorable for what Mount Enterprise does well. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. Well, next up is Game 6. Wall and Gunter is a matchup here. 3A Division I. Gunter, Kyle. Gunter's pretty good, I think.
They're okay. Yeah, they're okay. I think they've only won back to back state championships. So
I mean, yeah, they're not too bad. Are you going to go with the favorite or go with the upset here?
That's funny. I'm definitely going with the Gunter Tigers. They are They are on the level of Carthage, where until somebody beats them, I'm not going to believe it. And nobody has beaten them in the past. Well, granted, they haven't had perfect seasons all these years, but they lost 2 games last season, but still ended up winning a state championship. But before that, in 23, they went 16-0. 22, they went 15-0. Yeah, I'm not picking against the Gunner Tigers. So give me Gunner.
Jeremy?
Yeah, so this one's interesting, right? So Gunner has 1 loss on the season. Guess who? Salina. Right? Wall's undefeated. If I remember right, I think Gunner knocked out Wall last year in the playoffs as well. I think if I remember right, I think that's right, wasn't it? Didn't they knock him out last year?
Yeah, in the state semis last year, it was
same spot, and I think
42-32. Yeah.
Okay, so a pretty close game, right? Yeah, Wall's walking in with an undefeated season. I think it's a tough one, right? What's interesting is like looking at some stats. Like I think they score almost the exact same amount of points per game. Like they're really neck and neck. It's a tough one, right? Would I be surprised if Wall won this game? No. I think Gunner is probably going to win it, but I wouldn't be shocked if Wall came out and won it and kind of got that revenge game in. But I'm going to take Gunner as well.
Yeah, it's hard for me to go against someone like Gunner. They're used to being here. They're used to winning, and I'm going to take them. I mean, the loss to Salina, does that worry me? No, not at all. I mean, they're Salina. They're basically 2 divisions above them, so
that's like Kilgore losing to Carthage. Does it bother you? No.
Yeah.
Now, I am surprised. I'm surprised that Kyle didn't go with Wall because I'm pretty sure their colors are green, and I'm pretty sure they're the Eagles, right?
They're the Hawks.
Hawks. Okay, Hawks. Oh, that's right. Still pretty dang close. I'm just saying.
I do like their colors. I like the logo. I like everything about them, but not when they're playing the Gunner Tigers.
Gotcha. Okay.
Wrong team here. Wrong team. All right, let's go. Game 7. Man, one of the upsets of the week as Melissa moves on, they knock off Argyle. I thought we might see Argyle Oak Cliff here. I think Sock's like, man, I was looking forward to beating Argyle. I guess we'll just settle for Melissa. I'm taking Sock to move on and go play at AT&T Stadium again. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, give me SOC. Give me the Bears in the gold. Yeah, I think Melissa, again, hats off to them for knocking off Argyle. That was a surprise, but I think South Oak Cliff with their 0 that they gave up last week is poised to do the same thing here. They're just a stingy defense, and again, they hit you hard, and they don't give up anything, and you're going to have to earn every inch and every yard. And so I'll take South Oak Cliff.
KO? Oh, he's switching earbuds. All right.
All right, we back?
We're back.
All right. So, yeah, I'm going to make this one real simple as well. Give me Sock. Congratulations, Melissa. You beat Argyle. You made it to the state semis. The road ends here. So, South Oak Cliff by as many as they want.
Oh, the disrespect Kyle's laying out.
No disrespect to Melissa. That's just the amount of respect I have for the South Oak Cliff Golden Bears.
If Melissa knocks him off this week, well, that would be one of the stories of the year.
Sure would. Not going to happen. Give me Sock.
All right. Game 8. This is a juicy matchup right here, fellas. Game 8. Allen versus Duncanville. Jeremy, what do you think? Allen, Duncanville. He don't want to pick. He can't talk, KO. You can't hear him.
I'm just trying to figure out why I got picked on. I know why it is, because you don't want to pick first. So that
I just
way you
picked first. I picked the last game first.
Okay. Yeah, but that was an easy one.
I've just been bouncing back and forth.
Yeah, man. I picked them last week. They didn't let me down. I don't know. But it's Duncanville, right? And it's Duncanville. And
yeah, I know. This one's tough. I don't.
Gosh, dang. Duncanville has 1 loss on the season. Is that correct?
Yes.
Allen's coming in undefeated.
Waxahachie beat them. 28,
right.
27 in week 2.
That's right. That was that shocker that nobody saw coming that kind of vaulted Waxahachie for that 1 week, and then they got beat like the next week 7-3 or something.
And they took care of them.
Waxahachie had a good year.
Yeah, they took care of them revenge game this past week.
Man, gosh. All right, I'm going to go Allen. Give me the Eagles.
I mean, they beat South Oak Cliff. They beat DeSoto. They've beaten some good teams. Let's see. And you got Allen. Of course, they just beat the defending state champion North Crowley last week. That's not a bad win. Let's see. Allen beat Cedar Hill 38-0. I believe I saw that same game on. Did Duncanville play them as well? Yeah, they beat Cedar Hill 29-0. So, KO, what do you think?
Listen, I rode with the Blue Eagles of Allen last week. I'm going to roll with the Panthers of Duncanville this week. I saw some highlights of that Duncanville-Waxahachie game, and Duncanville is – now, listen, I think this one's going to be chippy as well because Allen got chippy with North Crowley. Duncanville got chippy with Waxahachie last week. This could be a very volatile situation on Saturday in Mesquite. Matter of fact, if this game is on an NFA Chess Network, I may be tuned in to watch this one. I think this one's going to be a fun one to watch. But
there could be a lot of good athletes on the field on this game.
Oh yeah, tremendous athleticism on the field. But I think I'm more impressed with Duncanville's overall. Since we had selection Sunday a couple days ago with the committee, their overall strength of record, I think, and strength of schedule with Duncanville is what is going to give me the edge here. So give me the Panthers.
Yeah, this one's tough. I agree with you. They've got some impressive wins. I do see that one game that I was looking at was the Cedar Hill game between the two of them. I don't know if there was another one that was a common opponent, but Allen did win a little more impressively. They won 38-0. I think, 38-0 versus 29-0. It was both to nothing. So
I think that Sock game though, like Duncanville beat it. We know how good Sock is, and Duncanville put up 35 on that Sock defense. Now I know it was week 1, but and then DeSoto. We know how good DeSoto is, and they won by 20 over DeSoto. Like I think Duncanville to me has just been more impressive this year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they're a team that I wouldn't want to play. It's hard to pick against those DeSotos, those Stock, those Duncanvilles, those South Dallas teams because they're always they're just loaded with talent. It's like they've got D1 guys on their bench. I mean seriously, they got guys they're going to go play at the next level that they can just sub in and out. I think I'm with you, Kay. I think I'm going to ride Duncanville too. Allen got me last week, so I'm maybe they get me 2 weeks in a row. I don't know, but I'm going to go with Duncanville. Game 9. This one's easy for me. I'm riding with Aledo, man. Aledo, to me, they're just a team that knows how to win. I think Frisco Lone Stars made it this far, but I think their season ends. I'm going with Aledo to get this one. What do you think, KO?
See, Jeremy went to me first before you, so I'll take this one. This is the easy one though. Yeah, I'm taking Aledo. Looking at their run through the postseason, Lone Stars had a good run, but I think Aledo has just been that team, and I think Aledo is destined to make it back to Arlington. So give me the Bearcats.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I think the impressive thing with Frisco is they beat Highland Park by 20 last week. That was a bit of a surprise. Not that they would win necessarily, but that they beat a Highland Park team by 20. And again, we saw Tyler High take Highland Park to the limit, right? And so that was an interesting thing. I didn't see that one coming, but
it was a home game for Lone Star, though.
Do what?
They played at the Star. It was a home game.
They did.
First time that Highland Park had ever lost at the Star, by the way.
Yeah.
They were undefeated there previously.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take Aledo as well. I think Aledo is just that program that it's hard to pick against as well, and this one was a little bit easier. But again, Frisco Lone Star's coming in undefeated, so it's not like they're a slouch by any means, right? They've won every opponent that's come in front of them. They put them down, and so I think it's going to be a good game. But I've got Aledo by 10.
All right, game 10, Peaster and Grandview. Jeremy, you seen Grandview? You didn't ride with them last week.
I didn't. Foolishly, I didn't.
Do the Zebras ride into Jerry's world next week?
Okay, so I got scared. So after our game, I was looking up some scores, and the Peaster game, I think they originally had it up on Dave Campbell's as them winning 81-34-0. So I was like, wow, this team put up a lot of points tonight.
Wow.
And then it was the game that there must have been some kind of computer error, because then like 2 minutes later it was like 55-52, and then it turns out they won 17-14. So I don't know what glitch in the system, or if some kid's back there just hacking and he's like, watch this, right? But I was trying to figure out who won that game and where. But I'm going to go with the Zebras. I mean, they've been impressive, and I picked against them last week and should listen to that. I should have gone with what I had seen, and but I've done that before and it cost me. So I don't know, but I think the Zebras are going to get to the championship game, and you're going to see that alternate Bengals helmet that is a zebra stripe for their team. You're going to see that one in the state championship.
KO?
This one's kind of tough for me because Peaster, I believe this is their first ever trip to the state semis. So, and it's a cool mascot matchup. You got the Greyhounds going up against the Zebras. So really cool mascot matchup. This Peaster, these two teams win different ways. So it's kind of a strength on strength. When you look at Peaster's schedule, they don't give up a lot of points. I think the most points they've given up this year is 21, and it was that loss to Paradise during district play. But then they avenged that loss last week, beating them 17-14. Then you look at Grandview, and they just put up points. They just score in bunches and put up a ton of points. They also gave up 55 to Spring Hill this season, which is not ideal if you got that on your resume going into the postseason. So no shot. No, I'm sorry. No disrespect to Spring Hill. I'm just saying. It's not anyway, let me move on before I put my foot in my mouth. So I think
no Spring Hill Panther gear coming your way.
No, unfortunately. Well, listen, the baseball team's good. I go with okay. I say defense wins championships, and I go with the defense. I made an addendum to that for Kagan Ash and the Mount Enterprise Wildcats to go with offense. I don't see Kagan Ash walking through that door for the Grandview Zebras. So give me the Peaster Greyhounds to go to state.
Okay. Yeah, this one's tough for me too. I lean more towards, I think Region 2 is a little tougher than Region 1. We've seen over the last couple of years, the team from Region 2 has made it. Malakoff has made it several times. There's been a team out of this region that's done well. That's where I think, because obviously, all these teams have been playing regional until this week, right? So they're kind of playing. There may be some crossover from these other games, like a rematch here, rematch there. A lot of these games aren't going to be teams they're familiar with, or it's going to be a different style of football, because depending on where you are in the state, it's a little different. I think Grandview is the region they just went through. I know how good Gladerwater was. They were good all year. They beat them. Pottsboro obviously knocked off some good teams in that region. I think this region is tough. So I'm going to go with the Zebras here because I just think the Region 2 region is just stronger. So I'm gonna go off that. And I think they've got some guys that can pound the rock and score it. Obviously, they give up points. But you also look at Peaster, they scored sometimes a lot of points, but those are against some teams that, aren't quite as strong. When they play these good teams, they're close down the stretch, and it could come down to an offensive play. So what Grandview did last week was pretty impressive over Pottsboro. And so I'm going to go with Grandview. All right. So that's all our picks. There's only a few games left. Let's go over the games that we have that we didn't. So we picked the Allen Duncanville. On the other side of that bracket in Division 1 is Galena Park, North Shore, and Lake Travis. North Shore is another team that you don't want to see. Lake Travis, it's been a little bit I think since Lake Travis has been in this position, I know they're a good school that's been here before. They beat San Antonio Johnson by 8 last week. It's kind of strange that you don't have. I think that Austin Westlake's already out. They were in the other bracket though, because usually
they got beaten round 1. I think. Were they the ones that got shocked and knocked in week 1?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this one to me is interesting. I mean, how many times have we seen North Shore and Duncanville? It's been several times over the last 4 or 5 years. I think we could see another one of those. I mean, any of those would be good games. I think North Shore to me is a favorite down at the bottom, just because of they're just North Shore. They're always there. So I think a North Shore Allen or a North Shore Duncanville, man, that'd be a really good 6A Division I game. What do you guys think about that game down below?
I think it's if we get an Allen Lake Travis state championship, I think that's kind of a blue blood, old school Texas high school football matchup. Like those are two squads that traditionally have always been good. Now, recently, past 10 years, it's been Duncanville and Galena Park North Shore that have been there consistently.
I've had some pretty historic matchups over there.
They've had some epic games, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. Don't want to see it again. But I think North Shore is there. They look like they're ready to go back there again. So maybe because Lake Travis hasn't been to that stage in so long, maybe they're hungrier for it and can come out with a victory. But I fear, and this no shot at Duncanville and North Shore. I just don't want to see that same state championship game again after we've seen it so many times. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I want Lake Travis to win just to see something different.
Yeah,
that's why you want Allen to win.
Well,
yeah, but I'm not picking against Duncan. So there's the problem.
Well, and I get your point there, Kale. But at least they've not been terrible games. Like if I was to see that one, if it's going to be another one of those great classic games, then I'll take it every year. I mean, I now if they're going to come in and blow up, one of the team blows them out 35-0 every year, then no, I don't want to see that one. But if they can continue to just put on classics, I mean, sign me up for that. Jeremy, what do you think? North Shore going to take that one down there?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game. I think these 4 teams that are left they're names, right? They're names that everybody recognizes. These aren't like, wait, who's that? Where are they from? Where are they located? Right? Like everybody knows where these teams are coming from. And I think North Shore wins this one, but I think Lake Travis is going to give them all that they can handle.
All right. Let's go 682. There's a couple of games we can talk about. This one was one that I almost put on the thing, but I didn't have the information I needed when I was setting this up. South Lake Carroll DeSoto could be a game of the weekend. I mean, that's going to be a good one. Then down below in the bottom half, you've got CE King versus Austin Vandergrift. So a couple of good games there. CE King's been just just basically making their way through the bracket with ease here. 56-7, 51-6, 52-0. I mean, they haven't been challenged yet. Yeah, Vandergrift they beat Westlake in round 1, and they've been able to use that momentum. They won by 2, and they've kind of made their way through the bracket down here and after beating Dripping Springs last week. That top matchup for me feels like whoever wins that game's favored to win. I mean, that's going to be a good matchup. What do you think about this one, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think the CE King team, I think they're the sleeper, right? Like I think and again, that seems stupid saying that with teams in the last 4 left, right? That there could be a sleeper here, but I think they're a sneaky pick to win it. Just seeing some of the scores they've had, and again, they've played some good teams, and but I mean Vandergrift, what they did in the round 1 is impressive as well, but again, I think I think you look at the 4 names left. I think South Lake Carroll DeSoto is probably going to get the most recognition in that game. Like people are going to say that's the championship game, and the next one is just for whatever is left. But I wouldn't count out CE King, but that South Lake Carroll DeSoto one, that's going to be a fun one for sure.
Yeah, South Lake Carroll and DeSoto. This is the game that Longview ruined last year for a lot of people. A lot of people were looking forward to seeing this game last year, but they'll get it a year later. South Lake Carroll and DeSoto. That's a tough one. I'm glad this wasn't on the pick 'em because I don't know who I would pick. I can see it going either way. I think it's going to be a fantastic game. As far as C.E. King and Vandergrift, no idea. I saw where C.E. King and Summer Creek fans got into a little squabble at the game on TikTok. So I really have nothing for you on these teams down here. Give me Vandergrift and the winner of DeSoto and South Lake Carroll, whoever wins that one.
All right, let's see. 5A Division I. We talked about the Alito Frisco Lone Star game that was on our pick'ems. At the bottom half, we've got Port Arthur Memorial and Smithson Valley. Kyle, that's a team out of Lufkin District.
Yeah, that's a Lufkin District team, and PA Memorial just beat that Barbers Hill team that had gone on a pretty good run throughout the playoffs, beating Pflugerville Weiss. So this PA Memorial team is legit. They beat Galena Park in round one, then they beat A&M Consolidated, beat College Station, and then beat Barbers Hill and beat all of them pretty handily too. Smithson Valley has kind of been that team that's been going from Region 4, it seems like, for the past few years. I think PA Memorial goes to the state title game. I don't think they've lost a game all year. I think they're undefeated. But yeah, they've been a phenomenal team, and I think they go up to state to face Alito, where hopefully PA Memorial can do Carthage a solid and knock Alito off.
Well, I think the interesting thing is I think Lufkin's district was a little tougher this year than we thought maybe originally.
Yeah, two of them made it to the regional final.
So, I mean, I think we thought maybe when Lufkin was having some problems that I think maybe it was more they had more competition than didn't play as well. I really do think that's kind of the case now.
I think they were definitely down a little bit from last year, but the district was definitely harder this year as well. So I think that combination kind of didn't bode well for the Panthers.
Jeremy, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think Port Arthur Memorial wins this one. And again, they face Alito in the championship, and that's going to be another good one as well. But, and I think that might be a time where the way that PA's playing, I mean, you wouldn't be shocked to see them beat Alito, right? Like, I think that's going to be – I mean, that's a game that you salivate over, right? Alito, PA Memorial in the championship. That's one that everybody's going to be tuned in for. And so that's if I had to go with it, I'd say PA Memorial and Alito in that final.
All right, the 5A Division II here. Of course, we talked about Melissa and South Oak Cliff at the top. Down at the bottom, you got Richmond, Randall, and Bernie in a battle at the Alamo Dome. I'm going to be pulling for Richmond, Randall in here in this one. I'm not gonna pull any punches. I'm not a Bernie fan.
Not a Bernie fan?
Not a Bernie fan at all. I hope they lose 50-0.
Jeez.
And
Richmond, the disrespect.
Randall. Richmond, Randall. If you got anybody watching, send me some gear. I'll support it.
Is this all because of what happened with Chapel Hill?
I mean, it could be a little bit of that. That we had to play a 5A team in 4A, and so now they're up with the big boys. Maybe they'll get their upcomings or whatever you want to call it.
Comeuppance is what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's what
I love the mascot, the Bernie Greyhounds. Love the mascot. Richmond Randall is for real this year. They were for real last year. They're for real again this year. So I'm gonna take Richmond Randall to win that game, and then like we talked about earlier, South Oak Cliff and Richmond Randall. I believe that may be a rematch of last year. I can't remember.
I can't remember who they play. Like Sock played. Well, they played PNG a couple years in a row when they were in a different region.
Right. So I think Randall made it last year. I remember Randall making it. I can't remember who they played. May have been Sock.
Did Sock make it last year?
I don't. Man, these years run together.
I know. I'm getting old. I can't remember all these things. Jeremy, what do you got here?
Yeah, so interesting here. One of my friends from college actually was on the staff at one point for Bernie. I don't know if he still is. I haven't talked to him in a while, and it's been so busy. But he's from that area. But this Richmond Randall team is going to be tough. But man, how can you? I mean, the Purple Greyhounds. I mean, that's it's a great mascot. And but I think Richmond Randall is probably the favorite here, and you'll see them match up with Sock, and that's going to be a fun one.
So Richmond Randall won it all last year.
Okay.
So Yeah, I think they'll go back to it. I can't see who they played, but they did win it all last year.
For Division One, we talked about both these games. You got Stephenville, Salina,
Oak Cliff.
Livonia.
Sorry. Okay, I'm done.
Are you good?
Randall beat Oak Cliff in the state game last year.
Okay. Right. Then they do want that game again, I'm sure. So we could have in the rematch. But yeah, this is good. Some good football here in this 4A Division One. These four teams, I think, I know for as far as the first three regions, you got Stephenville, Salina, and Kilgore were region favorites. I know Livonia, San Antonio, Davenport, and a couple of others were possible down there, but I think there was maybe only 2 or 3 that were kind of picked. But I think that that's going to be an interesting game, I think. And Kyle, that will be where you will be on Friday. McLean Stadium.
Yep, the third year in a row going to McLean. I went there 2 years ago when Chapel Hill played San Antonio Davenport. Went there last year when Longview played DeSoto. Be there this year for Kilgore and Livonia, so I'm excited about it.
I just can't get over the fact that the top of the stadium from a sky view looks like a toilet seat. Like, it's just like, who designed that? Like, who didn't look at that and go, you know what, that does not look good. It does.
It's a beautiful stadium, though, from the inside.
It is. It's a great stadium, but man, every time they do the blimp flyover, I'm like, don't do that. Don't show the
view. We got 4A Division 2. Of course, we talked about Brock Carthage at the top. Down at the bottom, we mentioned it earlier, but West Orange Stark and Sinton at that bottom, those bottom 2 teams. And, Wimberley has been that team out of the Region 4. Has primarily been that team, and they Sinton knocked them off 35-26 a couple of rounds ago. So this is interesting. I still think that Carthage's toughest task is the Brock game. I think whoever wins that game, which I think it will be Carthage, is definitely the favorite. Now, West Orange Stark, we saw they beat Waco La Vega, so I think I would probably pick West Orange Stark to move on and go to the championship game against Carthage. But if I was picking, I think Carthage takes care of Brock, and the other game may be a little bit easier. But of course, it is the Final Four, and you got to take every game as a serious one. But I think your Region 1, Region 2 game is probably the tougher matchup. Kyle, what do you think about this particular bracket here?
I think it's 4 quality football teams. I don't sleep on Sinton down there either. They got a high-powered offense and can really put it on some people. But West Orange Stark they've been kind of that team. Carthage and West Orange Stark played in 2013 for a state championship where Carthage won. West Orange Stark, I remember they played Gilmer a couple of times, I believe, for a state championship. So West Orange Stark has been there and been consistent there. They're one of the powerhouses too in the state. So I think West Orange Stark wins, and I think we get a Carthage and West Orange Stark state championship game. And I'm still not picking against the Bulldogs.
Well, of course not. We don't pick against our East Texas teams this far in usually, huh?
That's right.
All right, Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, I think West Orange Stark wins it, and I think they're going to be a tough out in that state final. But yeah, I'm not picking against Carthage either. So, yeah.
All right, 3A Division 1, fellas. We talked about the first game, the Peakster and Grandview game. At the bottom of the bracket, we've got Llano and Yoakum at the bottom. There is a certain person at Dave Campbell's, Ashley Pickle, hometown from Llano. So she is, I'm sure I know who she's picking in that one at the bottom. Man, I don't know. I think the fact that Columbus is out here, Franklin's out, like Yoakum, they just kind of made their way through this bracket. They beat Fairfield, which was a team in Westwood's district. And they just kind of made their way through that top part of the bracket while this bottom part just beat each other up. You had a Westwood, Columbus, Orangefield, and Franklin. They all just beat each other up. Columbus was left standing, and Yoakum knocked them off last week by 6. I'm a little surprised. I was thinking that Columbus was coming back out and trying to get back to state. So I don't know here in this bracket. I think this one's actually kind of wide open, and I think looking at the statewide picks of some of the state experts, their 3A Division I bracket was all just X. There was a bunch of people that missed some games in this bracket. I think this is more wide open. Like, I could see any of these teams winning it at this point in the game. Jeremy, what do you think here about this bracket?
Yeah, I mean, this Yoakum team knocked off Fairfield. I think they were the champs, right, from that district, because we thought it was going to be Westwood, and then they kind of fell apart toward the end of the season there. And then they handled Hardin, and then they beat a Columbus team that's really good. And then down there with Llano, you got, I mean, they've kind of taken, I mean, again, they took care of business. They took care of Mesquite Poteet like it was no big deal. Corpus Christi, London, right, Goliad. I mean, the last week's game against Edna was their closest one in the playoffs, 38-35. And then you got Yoakum winning 20-14 over a really good Columbus team. And so I think it's going to be a good matchup. I don't even know. I mean, that's a tough pick. I think this is that one where you could coin flip and probably be right. I'm going to say Llano on a flyer here just because it's more fun to say. Although Yoakum's not bad either. It's kind of fun. But give me Llano in that one, and then Grandview, and that's going to be a kind of a fun little state matchup there.
Okay, what do you think about this brackets? We're just crazy wide open here.
Yeah, first off, my condolences to Ashley Pickle because I will be picking against her Llano team. I'm going with the Yoakum Bulldogs because Yoakum and Mineola played in the state championship in 2016 when Mineola won the state title. So I'm taking Yoakum because I know of them. I don't know much about Llano. So that would mean we got a Peaster Yoakum state championship game, which I think is kind of cool. Could be a good game there. So I'm gonna take Yoakum in this one, and I think. But you're right. Y'all are both correct. Like these four teams, I think it's kind of Yoakum's run through the postseason has been more impressive. To knock off Franklin last week, I think is a huge win for Yoakum.
It was Columbus. Columbus knocked off Franklin the week before. That's what we kind of talked about. No, because that bottom half of the bracket kind of beat each other out. So they didn't have to go through all those teams. They only had to beat the one that was left. But
they still beat them. And I think my philosophy on that is that team that you beat that other team that you didn't have to go through. So
it's like they beat each other up, and there was only one left standing, and that was Yoakum.
And Yoakum was the one left standing, and I think Yoakum's going to be the one that heads to AT&T Stadium. So I'll take the Bulldogs in that one.
All right. Let's see. 3A Division II bracket. We talked about the top with Wall and Gunner. At that bottom, man, give me Newton. Give me a Newton-Gunner state championship matchup. I know East Bernard won that. Tidehaven is a team that's usually there. They knocked them off by 3. But, man, what I've seen from Newton and what they've done through this really tough Region 3, give me Newton, and I'd like to see them play Gunner. Man, that could be a really good game. That could be a classic there.
I'm going to take Newton as well, and I'm going to give you a daily double right here. I'm taking Newton to win it all. I think the Newton Eagles win state and stop Gunner's quest for a 4-peat by knocking off them in the state title game. But, yeah, Newton, the way Newton's playing this year has just been phenomenal. And so I'm taking Newton until somebody beats them.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I think Newton's going to win it as well, and they're going to be a tough out in the state final, and so that's going to be a fun game. And I'd say that Newton's probably the favorite in that one as well.
All right, 2A Division I, top half of the bracket, West Texas versus Hamilton. Hamilton is a team that knocked off Carlisle a couple weeks ago. They beat Axtell last week, 24-3. I'm taking Hamilton, man. That region was pretty tough. There was some tough games in that region. I'm going to take Hamilton to move on. I know that, the guys that did the game, I think it was that Jeremy and Chad did the game a few weeks ago with them and Carlisle. And they were really impressed of Hamilton and how Carlisle was able to play hard with them, but they were stingy defensively. They've given up, let's see, they gave up 20 the first week, then they went to 14, then to 7, and now to 3. So they're getting better as the playoffs get going. So could be a 0 this week. I don't know. But I'm taking Hamilton on the top. And then, of course, we talked about it, Joaquin Refugio. Man, it's going to be a tough matchup for Joaquin, but I think the Rams have it going. I think they can make a trip to AT&T Stadium if they can get off to a good start and just run their offense the way they like to. If they can stay ahead of the sticks, not put themselves in a, second and third and long, and able to stay, continue to run what they do. But a Joaquin Hamilton, I mean, you could see another East Texas team get a crack at Hamilton after they knocked off some of our other East Texas friends above there. So I'm excited for this little 4 games or 2 games here, 4 teams. Kyle, what do you think? You think we could see another team get their crack at Hamilton?
Yeah, I think so. I think Joaquin wins that Refugio game, and then Hamilton has been impressive. You talked about the defense is getting better as it gets deeper into the playoffs, and they may pitch a shutout this week. Who knows? I looked at who West Texas is playing. I mean, a bunch of teams I'm not familiar with, so I'm going to go with the devil I know here. I'm going to take Hamilton to win up top and Joaquin to win at the bottom, and that should be one heck of a state title game.
Jeremy?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same thing. Like Hamilton knocking off Mildred, and then only giving up 14, or having Mildred only score 14 against them, Carlisle 7, and then to go to Axtell and only allow 3 points, and Axtell had knocked off De Leon, and De Leon had whooped Frankston and put 74 up, right? So I'd kind of thought Axtell might be able to handle Hamilton, and Hamilton said, no, not today, sir. And so give me Hamilton and give me Joaquin in that state final.
All right. And the smallest 11-man classification here, 2A Division II. The top of the bracket, you've got Groover and Munster. I'm taking Munster in that one. I'm going with a Munster versus the Mount Enterprise Wildcats at AT&T Stadium next Thursday. You've got, of course, the 2 teams. I think Mount Enterprise and Shiner are the only undefeated teams. I think the top 2 have a couple of losses. Munster and Groover do. So it'll be interesting to see how this shakes out. But that's the 2 I'm going with. Who you got in this one, Kyle?
Yeah, I've been impressed with Munster this year. They beat a good Lindsay team last week in the regional final, and I don't know much about Groover. They're in that. I don't know much about these Region 1 teams because that's all these far west teams that I'm not really familiar with. So I'm going to take Munster, the Hornets, and I'm going to pick them to be facing Mount Enterprise and the Kagan Ash Wildcats on the Kagan Ash Wildcats. Mount Enterprise, the Mount Enterprise Wildcats and Kagan Ash.
Hey, get you a shirt. Get you a shirt, Gail.
With his face on it, just the Kagan Ash Wildcat. Jeez Louise. No, I meant no disrespect to Mount Enterprise. That was Freudian slip, as they say.
I don't know. Jeremy?
I think, I thought, looking at this game with Groover, I thought Stratford was going to come in and win that game. I mean, they won their first game 79-14. Stratford won 35-0, 48-14. And then Groover goes out and holds them to 14 points, which I think is impressive because Stratford was a team that several people I had seen online pick to make a long run. Groover shut the Elks down. I mean, they beat Ropesville the week before. It looks like, they've won some big games, but they've also won some tight ones. 23-13, 19-14. So Groover is a team that's won them big and won them close. But I think Munster's probably the favorite here. But I think this is going to be a good game. And then whoever wins this game gets to try to stop a one-man, a wrecking ball of a man in Kagan Ash and that Mount Enterprise Wildcat team. And I think Mount Enterprise is going to be favored, whoever they go up against in this one. But I think that Groover-Munster game is going to be a good one.
Man, just a lot of great football. We went through a stretch. I think it was after the second week of the playoffs where we had a lot of teams get knocked out. And we're like, man, East Texas is having a tough year. But we've had some that have continued on, and we've got several teams of the chance to make it on to the final week of the season here, guys. And as we kind of wrap it up, it's been a great football season so far, and we've got a few more weeks left. But what are you guys looking forward to as we close out tonight? Jeremy, go ahead and start with you.
Yeah, I think just the excitement of a state semifinal, right? And for me, the first year broadcasting and getting to go this far and be able to do that is really cool. And again, like you said, to watch a record fall last week, and then more than likely, unless something crazy happens. I mean, we should see the other 2 records fall if he does what he's normally been doing, right? Like I'd be shocked if he doesn't get 91 yards. He might have that before he should have that before halftime. And, you know, for him, 26 points is a ho-hum 4-touchdown night. And so, you know, and so I think, which is crazy to say, it sounds stupid. But I think those are the things where I'm excited about that game and be able to call that. But again, it's just that time of year that's so much fun. And again, hats off to the teams that have made it this far. And, you know, looking forward to some big East Texas wins. And the best thing about this week is like we can pick our East Texas teams and we're not picking against another potential East Texas team, right? Like we don't have to go like, oh, but I like both teams. I'm not sure here, right? Like we can just totally root for our side of the state here and hope they can run it and win it. So it's fun too.
Yeah.
It's just it's the culmination of a whole season that's coming down to this game. This is what you play for. This is what those 2-a-days in August and all those summer workouts. This is the moment you want an opportunity to punch your ticket to the state title game and have an opportunity to win a state championship. And I think, you know, obviously we have some ones that we expected, Carthage and Kilgore. With some of us predicted that some teams would win a state title before the season started, and they have this chance. So Carthage and Kilgore.
Do we need to also remember who you picked as well, Kev?
We focus on the good ones. Remember the whole positivity thing we were talking about earlier? We don't need to focus on the wrong picks. We focus on the good picks.
Okay, Jerry.
And Kilgore and Carthage.
So it's old New Day, not new day.
Exactly. Thank you, Jeremy. But no, I think it's cool that we got, you know, the Blue Bloods, Kilgore, Carthage, the ones we expected to be there. But the Joaquins, like even going into the postseason, nobody was really high on Joaquin because
we should have known better.
We should have known better, yes. But it's exciting to see them have another opportunity to kind of avenge that loss they had last year in the semis and then to go on and win. And then Mount Enterprise, just the story with Kagan and everything that's going on with Mount Enterprise, their story has been phenomenal this year. So to see them there, to see kind of a different team there, I think is a neat thing too. So I'm just excited to see these teams. And like Jeremy said, hopefully we're able to cheer for these East Texas teams and not feel bad about, like last week, I couldn't pick between Joaquin and San Augustine, Athens and Carthage. You had to be for both of them. But now you can focus on the East Texas team and hoping that they go on and win the whole thing. So I'm just excited, man. Excited for this week.
Yeah, this whole season has been excellent. I mean, all the games and the teams. I have to go back and count, you know, all the teams that we've gotten to cover. Jeremy was with me on most of them. You know, we've kind of got to bounce around. Had the privilege to cover a ton of different East Texas teams. We've got a chance to follow several, and just blessed to be able to follow, you know, this Mount Enterprise team in this run. I mean, we've kind of gotten to document the whole season, whether it was, you know, us or any of the other broadcasters that work here at NETSN, and we've gotten to, you know, kind of document this whole season. So this is something that no matter if they win this week or if they win it all, or if they, you know, whatever happens, this is history for them either way. And they'll get to go back and enjoy this season, you know, for the rest of their lives, because we have it all, you know, documented. So I've just been blessed to be able to be a part of that. And, you know, it's been one of those kind of, I think when the year started, we knew how good they were going to be. We knew they would be good, but the record stuff, we had no idea that was going to go the way it did. And the points that they've been able to put up week after week after week. And it's one of those things that we've talked about on here, you know, how defense wins. And we've all agreed that that's usually the case. But with these guys, it just, you can't stop their offense. Their best defense is their offense. And so it's just been, it's a different way of winning. And it's been fun to watch. Obviously broadcasting them is that much fun. You know, Kyle, you've done enough broadcasts to know that when teams score, it makes it a little more fun. Like defensive battles are great too. Like that, don't get me wrong, but like when people are just doing crazy stuff back and forth on offense, and the games that we've gotten to see this year, it's been great. I think I looked and I've done about 25 games, I think, this year, just in these 15 weeks or so. And so it's been awesome that we've gotten to cover all these East Texas schools, and we're thankful for all the schools that allow us to come out and cover them and provide them with a free service. And If you're watching our show here tonight and you're interested in us, coming out next year, let us know. Reach out to us. We'd love to follow some more of you guys' teams. Like I said, we try to grow and expand our coverage so that we can cover as many teams as possible, because we want to try to get our bEast Texas schools, as we call them, out there for everyone to know, hey, there's some serious football going on. And you see it. We've got teams left and got some teams with serious, legitimate shots at winning a state championship. So it's a cool thing to see. So, but that's going to do it for tonight's show. Good luck with your pick'ems this week. Make sure you get those in on time. Those games start Thursday, so get them in so you don't miss them. But for Mr. Red Zone OT, K.O. Collins, Jeremy Dummett, I'm Mr. NETSN Brett Swinney, signing off for the evening. Good night. We'll see you next week right here on NETSN. Good night, everybody.
The Northeast Texas Sports Network is dedicated on delivering the most entertaining sports broadcasts in East Texas. And if you're interested in having your next sporting event streamed live, visit us online at netsn.com.